and smoke and flame. Teacher in a class calling every kid by name. And don't forget the hands that clean, the ones who work behind the scene. Trash gets picked, lights stay on because of folks that just push on. Salute to service, hear the stories unfold of heroes young and the brave and bold. From chalkboard lines to the engine's roar, to the garbage truck and the grocery store. American born with hearts ablaze, fist in the air as the eagle sways. They don't wear capes but they save the day. So we salute to service the American way.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back for another episode of Salute to Service. And I figured we would do something a little bit different today, this week for our podcast. As everybody knows, if you look behind me, you see the flag, what's on it. Corrections, dispatch, EMS, nurses, firefighters, police, military, teachers. We basically cover public service workers, military, teachers, all that. But today, I want to cover something a little different. And I want to invite anyone that wants to get in on this conversation to join in with me. I'd love to hear your any stories you have on it, any points or views. I'd love to hear them. So, this episode, we're going to cover blue-collar workers. And if you don't know what a blue-collar worker is, well, let's kind of go through what a blue-collar worker is. So, traditionally, blue-collar jobs are associated with jobs that require manual labor trades, construction, welding, stuff like that. Electricians, mechanics, anybody that, works manual labor. But there's also another version of blue collars called white collar, which white collar jobs are typically office-based jobs, finance, accounting, basically sitting in an office doing work. That's white collar. Just so you know the difference between the two, but we're not coloring white collar workers this week. We're covering blue collar. Blue collar workers were formed on the backbone of the infrastructure of the economy, economic infrastructure. So that's, what blue-collar workers are. Today, blue-collar workers are getting more into advanced technology integration, which, computers, digital skills, they're having to get into that now because that's what the country is, transitioning to, and we're getting a lot more blue-collar workers that are getting into that. So let's get a little background information here. And let's go back to the Industrial Revolution. The rise of factories, railroads, steel production, that kind of morphed or transformed the United States into the economic superpower that, we were and, in my opinion, still are. So, during the Industrial Revolution, it kind of flipped the page to a new chapter for any blue-collar worker at that point. I'm about to click the wrong button. Um, and like I said, they're blue collars characterized by hard physical labor, long hours, and the fight for better working conditions. Yada yada yada. We all know this. Um, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. If it'll pull up. So the Industrial Revolution brought about a shift from manual labor to machine-based production, um, which kind of eased the manual labor part of it. It gave them the ability to use a machine to do what they were doing instead of having to do everything by hand. They it gave them the ability to have a machine that helped them do it. And it's still long hours, uh, repetitive task. It rose in the demand for labor in the manufacturing sector. Also created new opportunities for workers in transportation, construction, and other industries. And it also brought about the what we know now as the unions. So as the demand for labor increased and the conditions of work became more difficult, workers began to organize and advocate for better wages. We all want better pay. I mean that doesn't go for just blue collar uh, workers like myself, and I know there's most of America these days is blue collar workers. A lot of people. So the labor unions emerged as a powerful force during the Industrial Revolution, with workers in factories, mines, and other industries banding together to demand greater rights and protections. Um, they played a key role in securing many of the workplace protections that a lot of us these days and generations after us are take for granted, including 8-hour work days, overtime pay. We all love overtime. I know I do. So you can thank the guys in the Industrial Revolution, the guys that fought for that. You can thank them um, for what you get now, the overtime pay, uh, the work days. And I mean, I know a lot of us still work more than 8-hour work days. I know right now I'm working 10. There are some people that work 12, 18, whatever it may be. We still all work that overtime. What's up, Jess? I actually don't know. That's a good question. But the show must go on, so we're gonna continue with the show. And today we are covering blue collars. So if you want to join in, Jess, feel free. Get in here with me, and we'll have a chat. So anyway, back to blue collar. So that just kind of a little background into the blue collar. The impact of the Industrial Revolution on American labor, the impact on the Industrial Revolution for the blue collar worker, um, and the emergence of manufacturing and factory jobs. Um, with the introduction of machines, mass production goods, um, we all know manufacturing was, and will be a big part of this country. It what helps this country drive and run. So, it'll always be there. Let's see, we covered the rise of unions and work advocacy. Geez, I can't talk tonight, guys. So that kind of gives us a little background on it. So we're gonna go to the good part. We're gonna go 10 blue collar jobs today that are popular, have a lot of people in. Oh, well, bring me something while you're at it. So we're going to go over 10 jobs that are popular today and are considered blue collar. So at number 10, we have wind turbine technicians. Okay, so these guys I have a lot of respect for because there's no way I'm doing that job. That requires heights. I don't like heights. I don't like climbing on my roof of my house. So, yeah, not doing that job. So, as wind energy becomes more prominent and more wind technician jobs are becoming available, they earn a median salary. Median, in case anybody doesn't know, is the medium, the middle. Salary of $61,770 a year. Um, and they are expecting, uh, were expecting, and are expecting a 60% growth between 2023 and 2033. So in 10 years, they're expecting a 60% growth in wind turbine technician jobs. Uh, and with these jobs, you don't have to go to a fancy, expensive college. You can go through a technical school, technical training program at a community college or technical school, and then you know, on the job training, which I'm sure for these guys is long and quite extensive. Um, when you're building something like a wind turbine, you know, you're up high, like I said, you're dealing with extremely heavy parts, a lot of moving parts, and not just with the turbine that you're putting up. You got the crane that's there helping lift the heavy bits to the top and put it together. You got your tools that you're using. So there's a lot of moving parts, uh, I'm sure, that are involved with putting together a wind turbine. And if any of you out there in YouTube land um, are a wind turbine technician and you'd like to come in and elaborate, feel free to hit me up and we'll get you in here and let you kind of go through some of the ups and downs and challenges and all that of being a wind turbine technician. So, on to number 9. Um, I know some people that do this, the number 9 job. So, number 9 is electrical and electronics installers and repairs. Electrical work, again, something I will do, but I prefer to leave it to the electrician who is experienced and has the proper training to do the job. Because I don't like getting shocked, so, you know, and who does? Uh, let's see. Anybody good with their hands and has some sort of knowledge of electrical, uh, you can actually, again, trade school, community colleges, um, apprenticeships, getting into or getting a job with an electrical company as a helper to start with, uh, can get you into an electrical or electronics installer's job. Or you can go in, you know, high school diploma. But they earn around 67,220. Now, again, guys, these numbers are the median. They're not the high end. They're definitely not the low end. I'm sure there are some electricians as well as wind turbine techs that make less than what this says, and I'm sure there's a lot of them that make quite a bit more than what this says. So these numbers are in the kind of in the middle of what these current jobs pay. So electrical and electronic installers and repairs. Again, if you have any insight or you do this for a living, please let me know. Love to hear from you and get the ups and downs and ins and outs of it. So on to number 8. This one I know absolutely nothing about and don't know anybody that does it. But stationary engineers and boiler operators. If somebody can explain to me what a boiler operator is, I'd love to know because I have no clue. Says they maintain and repair stationary engines, boilers, and mechanical equipment. basically high school diploma guys, apprenticeships, technical school. You see the trend here with these jobs. There's a big trend, and hopefully you've caught on. I mean, these jobs don't require that high dollar expensive degree that the traditional white collar person would have to get. So, stationary engineers and boiler operators, their median annual salary is around $67,640 a year. So, we're on a kind of an upward trend here, which would which is what I think should happen, depending on how seeing as how they got them listed from number 10 to number 1. So number 7 is construction and building inspectors. I spent a very, very short time in construction. Not my cup of tea. Um, Inspectors, they need to be familiar with the local codes and regulations and all that to make sure that the construction workers are doing their job properly. I can't talk, guys. I'm telling you. So, and I'm sure you start off in construction, do your time in construction, and then go on to upgrade or not say upgrade, but go on to be a building inspector. Sure, most building inspectors these days, or I would hope, have some sort of background in construction. But the annual median salary for construction workers or building inspectors is $67,700, which is pretty good. These are pretty good salaries. I don't, can't complain. High school diploma, again. Building inspectors, of course, it says several years of construction-related experience and a license. So with building inspectors, there is some schooling you would have to do to get your license. Construction workers, I'm sure, again, high school diploma, and then apprenticeship or trade school, or even, just get out, get you a construction job and on-the-job experience. No better teacher than actually being there on the job doing it. I mean, you can go to school for it. Any of these jobs, you can go to school for them, but until you get on the job and start doing it, I mean, come on. School can only teach you so much. You have to actually be there. Here's another one. Don't really know a whole lot about, but if anybody out there can elaborate and, kind of bring me to light, I would be happy to
What's up?
entertain you. Oh, and there is a wild BB. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, nothing much. Driving home from dinner.
Oh, what'd you eat for dinner?
Mexican.
Mexican. What'd she say?
Mexican food.
Oh, Mexican. You didn't bring me none.
I just asked you if you wanted cheese and rice.
I mean, yeah, bring it on. You leave now.
I got some.
You leave now. You should be here by 1 or 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm down.
Of course you're down. See the way my paycheck is set up.
Yeah, you
I'm
gotta
a blue
say
collar guy.
you gotta
I'm a blue
check,
collar guy, and I live paycheck to paycheck.
and you got a checking in
And
your
that would just-
savings, and all the money's in your savings, and it would take 3 business days for it to go from your savings to your checking, and yada yada yada.
I mean, your whole entire episode is about blue collar people, and I'm just telling you that I'm a blue collar guy, and I live paycheck to paycheck. And
Well, I tell you what, get home, get to your computer, and get in here and explain what makes you blue collar, and kind of, I know you're not going to tell people where you work, but kind of explain to the peeps what you do and what makes it blue collar.
well, I mean, I've got like a 15, 20-minute drive. I figured I'd hop in here with you until I got home. But I work in medical manufacturing, so I work in a machine shop. Can't disclose the company I work for, but yeah, we make medical parts, mainly surgical instruments. Got CNC lathes, mills. Me personally, I run a bandsaw. cut up all the material.
So, your job, I know we covered it earlier with the unions and stuff like that. In your field, do they have a union? Is there a union in place that y'all are under?
No, that is actually in our handbook. That because of course, you probably know how unions are created. That's frowned upon for our company. Like even talking about it, kind of a situation.
Okay,
It's
all
frowned
right.
upon. They don't want our company, to become a union. Even though there's things that are beneficial with unions.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I know some companies, some companies don't mind it. Some companies definitely encourage it, and then, like you said, there are companies out there that frown upon it. They don't want it brought up. They don't want it talked about. So,
I
it is.
I
It's
think
I guess it's up to the
UPS
company.
isn't UPS a union?
Yes.
I know FedEx is not.
UPS is. I've asked the FedEx guy.
I did not know that. I had no clue UPS was a union
Yeah,
job.
my little sister worked for them for a little while, and they were union. My brother-in-law he worked for Kroger, and Kroger's a union. I didn't know Kroger was a union.
Didn't know that either.
I did not know that.
See, guys, that's the wonderful thing. You learn something new every day. So you said you operate a bandsaw, cutting up whatever metal or what have you that goes into whatever y'all make.
Yeah,
So
we do a lot with stainless steel, like 17.4, 400 series, 300 series. We do a lot with titanium, uh, a lot with cobalt chrome.
What do you say, titanium?
You name it, we kind of deal with it.
so I
Aluminum, 7075, 661.
okay. So I know it was also brought up in here when I was reading through, the industrial revolution and all that. In 2025, a lot of jobs nowadays, a lot of blue collar jobs are going more towards the uh, tech age, I guess you could call it, to where there's a lot of the machines nowadays are controlled by computers, to where you punch something in on a computer screen and the machine basically, you know, does the work for you. Are y'all's machines, is it all manual? Are they computerized?
We still got some old school machines that you have to stand there and load the parts. But a lot of our machines have gone to where you do have to have a man operated, like to keep an eye on it, but it does run lights out, as we call it. Uh, we've got a few with robots on it that the robot will take parts and load it, but those are still man operated machines. Like they still have to tell the robot and stuff what to do. Uh, in my specific area, cutting up material and stuff, that's still a manual process.
Okay. Now, what are your, I'm sure y'all do shift work, correct? Or is it just one shift or one one length of hours of operations and then everybody goes home?
No, yeah, we're shift work.
Okay. Do y'all
We
run,
we've got we've got two shifts. We're 18 hours a day,
that,
or yeah, 18 hours a day.
that makes for a very long day.
Well, no, we're two shifts, so uh, two 9-hour days
Okay. So
or two
y'all,
9-hour shifts.
y'all run two 9-hour shifts and the plant or whatever is only open 18 hours.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I
we
don't know
we got a
why.
day we got a day shift and a night shift.
Okay. Okay. So there is when you leave for the day, you kind of turn it over to another guy comes in. You kind of turn it over for him and give him the rundown of where you're at, what you've done, yada yada yada.
All the other areas in the shop, yes, they do that. Me, no, I don't do that. I'm a one man show. Uh, I supply that entire shop. We've got, I think, 100 machines. and I supply every single one of those machines and keep those machines running.
Lord have mercy the day they make you mad and you decide to quit.
Yeah.
That would be horrible.
I am a man of many hats.
So, what
Uh,
I
like I'm not just a saw boy up there. I do a lot of different things. I've helped create our metal recycling program. Uh, I'm working on becoming the forklift trainer, so I will certify other people to be forklift drivers. I am RCRA certified, EPA certified. Like I wear a many of different hats throughout that facility.
so
Uh,
so with your job, did it require anything past when I ask you this question, it's not I'm not really talking about certifications or stuff like that because I understand, you know, a lot of jobs have those nowadays. But did it require any extra? Did it require like you go into a technical school or an apprenticeship, or was it just you got your high school diploma and you learned it, you applied, got the job, and kind of learned it on, you got on the job training instead of having to go through a school?
so for me, no, I had no other education outside of my high school diploma. But most of our machinists, the older guys, didn't go to machine school. You know, they've been there for a long time. They were taught about other older people, you know, of the game. But like the newer guys, the newer generation coming in, uh, that they at least have to go through 1 to 2 years of machine school before they could be hired on. But now my company is actually creating an apprentice program to where they'll go through it and it'll be a 3 year program, uh, and have to you won't have to go to a college or whatever, you know.
So my
Okay.
dad has been at the same machine since he was 18.
Yeah, I work with her mama and her daddy.
Yeah.
Oh, lucky you.
I'm the oddball. I didn't want to work in a machine shop. Um, I ventured out,
So since
but yeah,
Jess
my dad has been at the same machine.
since Jess is there with you, BB. So
Uh-oh.
I was, you know, before I started this whole venture into the blue collar, and guys, we're going to get a lot more into this. I do have guests um, lined up to kind of go in more in depth and actually get uh, different blue collar jobs uh, insight and what, you know, what it took them to get where they're at in their job. So Jess, in doing my research, and I'll let you explain to the peeps what you do. But your job is actually, believe it or not, not considered, from the definition, not considered blue collar. Now, in my book, I would consider your job a blue collar job because you do manual labor, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
I do manual labor.
So, so in your opinion, would you consider your job more of a blue collar job or more of a white collar job?
Um, I don't really know. Um,
She white collar, but without the white collar pay.
yeah, you're right on that. I am not in my field for the money, apparently. Um, I am a customer service representative at a vet clinic. That's a fancy name for receptionist. I handle clients, pets, money, appointments, filing, computer, all of that. And yes, you have to be able to lift over 55 pounds. That was in the interview when I interviewed for it. I've been at my clinic 4 years today. Now I do a lot more than receptioning. I'm a bit of everywhere. I help doctors and technicians and kennels, and I'm on my feet about 9 hours out of my 10 that I'm there.
So, with you, did you with your job, did it require anything past a high school diploma, say a trade school, apprenticeship? I mean, anything like that, or was it just kind of, hey, I got my high school diploma, and this, I'm gonna apply for this job?
You do not have to have a degree or anything like that. Now, I did go to school for it, and I plan on going back here soon. My clinic is paying for my schooling. They will be come December. But no, you do not have to have any type of college or anything like that.
Okay.
But I want more on my name
And I
than
think, and
what
I,
I have.
and I think nowadays, even with blue collar workers, I mean, I think we all strive to, better ourselves, be better at what we do, um, continue our education in the field that we're in. So, and the only way to do that is to go back to school or, um, like in Bronson's case, become a forklift trainer or get your certifications for whatever it may be that you would need to further your career in the field that you're in. I know with me, one of the things that helped me out was going and getting my CDLs, um, which is a class you got to take. It was 3 or 4. It was 3 or 4 days. So there's always things you can do to better yourself in any field, and that is to include blue collar work. Um,
Yeah.
so Bronson, you are a smart man. Do you know what a
Does
boiler
he,
ma- Do you know what a boiler maker is?
a what?
A boiler maker.
A boiler maker.
Yes.
That's someone that makes a boiler?
I don't know. It's on my list of top 10 blue collar jobs. And apparently it requires a high school diploma and the completion of an apprenticeship. And they make $71,140 a year.
Man, a
And
boiler maker sounds like someone that would work on a steam, like on a boat. Uh,
so they
that that is like throwing the coals to make a steam powered boat work.
so it says they install and repairing boilers, close vats, and other large vessels that contain gases or liquids.
Vessel, so it is boats.
I mean, I guess boats or like if you're in the steel making industry, dealing with pouring the molten steel and all that, I guess they would require boilermakers in those
Huh.
plants. So yeah, that's number 6 on the list is boilermakers. And actually, a job I used to do in the military is actually on this list at number 4. But we'll get there. What's going on, Nick?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Doing pretty good, sir. How about you?
I'm doing all right.
That's good. That's good. So Nick, we are
Yes.
doing we're doing blue collar jobs on this episode of Salute to Service, which, as you know, is not our normal uh, area. We're kind of
Good job,
branching
Neil.
out a little bit. So, Nick, do you consider yourself a blue collar worker?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even know what that means, so no.
Oh my.
So a blue collar
He ain't from
worker
the
is,
South.
by definition, somebody who works in the manual labor industry, construction workers, stationary engineers, electricians, plumbers, stuff like that would be considered blue collar.
Then no, I am not.
All right, then. So, we got the Boilermaker out of the way. Number 5 is railroad workers. And I don't know.
Man, them dudes make bank.
And I don't
Yeah.
know if any of y'all live near a railroad and have seen them guys out there working, but let me tell you something. It's hot. You're dealing with steel and trains. You'd have to pay me well.
Hot and still don't really mix, anyways.
Not at all. So, railroad workers, high school diploma again, which, common sense, guys, you got to graduate high school or get a GED to really work at all. Um,
Hey, I know a blue collar job that's not on the list.
Oh, he's talking about railroads. You can't derail him. He's talking about this.
that was a good one, Bronson. So, railroad workers with a high school diploma and on-the-job training average around $73,580 a year. And that includes, the guys that lay down the rails, the engineers, the switch controllers, even a train conductor. I mean, because them boys deal with a lot of weight and a extremely fast train. And then at number 4 is something I used to do, and I never considered it blue collar. I guess that's because I was in the military, but I never considered it blue collar, and that's aircraft mechanics and technicians come in at number 4. And they typically earn around $75,000 a year.
Now, is this U.S. averages, or is it your state average?
Nope, this is a average for the whole country.
Okay.
Nope, I did not do.
Yeah, I know
did not.
one
I
that's
didn't
not
want
on
to.
there.
I didn't want to do it a state average because then I would have done North Carolina, and the average in the average in North Carolina is going to be different than the average, say California or God knows, taking me back to last night, or Montana, or even like New York, Pennsylvania, areas like that. It's going to be different. So I did kind of the national average. What is the job that you think is not on the list, Jess?
Ranching and farming.
Hey, Dad, you are right. It is not on the list.
People cannot live without farmers, and without ranchers, you don't get beef.
Well, it's hard to. The reason that's probably not on the list is because it's kind of hard to have an average of what a farmer makes, because that's not like, each farm is different, and kind the way the pay works on it, and Tater can correct me if I'm wrong, is how many acreages of crop you're able to get, how much yield you're able to get off your crops is going to be how much you made for that season.
Yeah, but also
Same thing with your cattle and herd, is how many heads you had, and
yeah,
how many of them went to butcher and such.
yeah, but also they work hard. They manual labor. God knows manual labor. And I mean, I've never met a bad rancher or farmer. I did it. I ran a ranch.
So, I'm not sure really on the ranch part, because around here we don't really have a lot of ranches. I mean, we have some, but around here with farming, especially, farming's hard to get, like Bronson said, it's hard to get an annual median salary on because, like he said, it depends on your tonnage per acre. Um, it depends on the weather. Did you have good weather? Did you have bad weather? Did you have high winds? Did you have flooding? Because those things can destroy crops quickly. I mean, there's a lot of factors that come into play when you start talking about farming and what median salary annually a farmer makes in the country. And it's the same with, not just crops, but dairy farmers, your beef cattle farmers. It, it all varies because, you know, if you if you're a dairy cow farmer and you have extreme heat and uh, cows get sick or stuff like that, it limits your milk production. Same with beef cows. Um, if your herd gets sick, or if you know, God forbid, you lose cows due to some strenuous event, that kind of goes into the losing money part. So yeah, it would be hard for them to kind of get a grasp on an annual median for those guys. So at number 3, and I believe these guys should be on the flag behind me, because without these guys, we would all at this point be hot and sweaty, and none of us would be on here. We would all be on our phones doing this podcast, and that is uh, your linemen, the guys that work on the power lines, that install them, that fix them, and maintain them. Um, and those guys, on here it says typically need a high school diploma and to complete an apprenticeship. I know around here there's a bunch of different line companies that you can go to work for, and all you need is a high school diploma. The rest of it you get on the job, or they send you, to a particular school or training program to get what you need. And those guys annually, the average is $85,420 a year, which I don't think is enough at all. Especially when you're talking about, they're out in extreme heat, extreme cold. They're out during hurricanes, all that stuff. So I really don't think even that as an annual median is not enough. And then number 2 is your power plant operators. The guys that work in your coal powered, your nuclear powered power plants. And I want y'all to take a guess on what the annual median salary is for somebody that works in a power plant. Take a wild guess.
I'd have to go with over 100,000. They're definitely making six figures.
Okay, Nick? I think we lost Nick. But yeah, you're right, Bronson. The annual median for your power plant guys is $100,890 a year. So, that speaks for itself. They work 8-hour or 12-hour shifts. You basically need a high school diploma, and then after that, it's on-the-job training and obtaining whatever other licenses or certifications you need through that training. And then at number 1, and if you'd have told me this, I would have called you a liar, that this particular job would be number 1. It is, at the moment, according to this list, the highest paid blue collar job in the country, you only need a high school diploma. And or an apprenticeship. Well, and an apprenticeship before you can get a job and start working towards getting the licenses and certifications you need while on the job. But elevator technicians is the number one blue collar job in the country right now. At an average median annual salary of $102,420. How? Can anybody please explain to me why they would make more than some of these other ones? It makes no sense. They work on elevators. I guess it's dangerous. I reckon. Would you have thought that, Bronson, that they'd be elevator technicians, the highest paid blue collar job in the country right now?
It absolutely is a dangerous job. I wouldn't have pegged it as the highest paying job, honestly. I would have thought that it still would have been deep sea fishing. Honestly, but still, like, because that for a long time that was the most dangerous job, considered one of the most dangerous jobs that a blue collar guy could do.
So, according to what I have found, the average pay for deep sea fishermen in the United States is roughly $28,530.
But
On
now
average,
that's probably just a season though, too. You know, because season.
On average, deep sea fishermen earn between 30 and 70 annually, with highly experienced individuals netting upwards of 100,000 during peak season. Now we all know, we've all seen Deadliest Catch.
Yep.
We've all seen, what's the one with the tuna boys?
I know what you're talking about.
But
Deadliest Catch is always my favorite.
yeah, but we all know those boys make bank. And you'd have to pay me a lot of money to get out there on that ship in the middle of the Bering Sea and do that job. There's no way I'm doing it without big money. So, but yeah, on average, according to this, and probably not taking into account that, but between 30 and 70 for deep sea fishermen, which is
But the elevator guys, man.
I won't get over that. I won't get over that. Elevator technicians.
So you're telling me to install that annoying music, you get paid 6 figures to do that?
And when they and in that elevator technician is also includes escalators. So apparently elevator technicians also install escalators. So yeah,
Interesting.
I didn't realize until I decided to do this and started kind of doing some research how off some of these blue collar jobs were as far as average salary goes until I started looking, and that one just shocked me. Like HVAC guys, come on. You mean tell me they make less than an elevator tech? Or I guess mechanics, unless you own your own shop, you're not really making.
You see, they had to base that number off of somewhere. Like, I get that it was the U.S. as a whole. They had to base the number off of somewhere. So I'm wondering wherever they base that number off of, if like HVAC guys aren't as needed in those areas. You know, because like here in the South, we need them guys. Air breaks down in
sure.
the middle of the summer, and we're up Shit's Creek.
Bro, I got my air conditioners wide open, running as hard as they can, and this house is still hot.
Mine's on 72 degrees, and it's 72 degrees in the house. When I lay my head on that pillow tonight, I'm gonna go down to 68, and I'm gonna wake up in the morning. It's gonna be 68 degrees in this.
My bedroom stays on 62, and the air conditioner has yet to cut off at night. Let's see. I'm trying to go through this list and see if there's any others that didn't make the top 10 that, in my opinion, should have. Transportation is another one that didn't make the list.
So truck drivers or just transportation in general?
It just says transportation in general. It doesn't specify what, whether it's truck drivers or what have you. But I mean,
You see, they should be close to the number one spot, like when it comes to money, because truck drivers make a killing. Watch this. The average salary is going to be like $40,000 or $50,000.
you are way off, my friend.
It should be six figures.
Very close. So the average salary of a truck driver in the United States as of June 16th, 2025 was $93,691.
How much? 95.
93,691.
You got your CDL. It won't take you much. It wouldn't take you much to go get your CDL. The rest of your CDL to be able to drive a big truck.
I mean, yeah, I got my Class Bs. It wouldn't take a lot to go get my A's, but
But
Don't-
you set yourself up getting your B to where if you needed to venture off somewhere else, you could.
So here you go. Truck driver salaries by states. Now there's only certain states listed here, so it's So the average salary for a truck driver in Florida is $142,317 a year in Florida. In Massachusetts, it's $97,313. In Texas, it's $107,000, and in the great state of California, it's $114,000. So, PSA: if you want to be a truck driver, go to Florida.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to. The most expensive state being California, and those guys, a truck driver there can't live by himself in the fucking state of California. Sorry, I forgot what podcast.
You're good.
You can't even afford a 1-bedroom apartment in California on a truck driver's salary. That's a little jack, don't you think?
Right, but yet you're a truck driver in Florida and you can go buy a house on the beach in the Keys.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And a lot of like blue collar jobs, and even you said it where you work, they're getting more and more dependent on, especially in I guess you could say factory style jobs. They're getting more and more dependent on robotics and computerized tools that basically do the job for you. There's not really a whole lot of work involved. Oh, I found a new level of blue collar. It is called gold collar jobs. And those are high earning specialized professions. But we don't want to cover them because they don't work hard. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. They do. Just kidding.
You ain't gotta lie.
Uh,
You ain't gotta lie.
so Hammy said that elevator techs pay can go up and down depending on the location. Okay. So
Yeah,
I guess
it depends on what level they're on.
so I guess an elevator tech in North Carolina might make less than an elevator tech, say, in
No, it depends on like if there's 100 floors or if there's 25 floors.
yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm sure the elevator techs that put the elevators in the World Trade Center made more money than the people who put the elevators in a hotel at Myrtle Beach. Could you imagine being the one that had to put the elevators in them buildings?
Nope.
100, what was it? They had what, 100+ floors in them buildings? So you putting the shaft in at the very top, you're 1,000+ feet off the ground.
And think about how elevators work. So like even though you're on the elevator's on the first floor, there's the springs or whatever on the bottom that hold that elevator up. So that it's not because I think it's what, like another floor's worth of room for that elevator. Yeah, see, I got what he was getting at. Tater is
Okay.
joke.
Yep.
Elevators
I
go
got,
up
yep,
and down.
I got you. I got him. I got him now. Yep. I kind of, yeah. No, that would have been a good joke, Cammy, had I actually got it. Had a blonde.
I even tried to
had a blonde moment.
elaborate on it a little more, Hammy.
Yeah, he really did. That was, yeah. Shame on me. I'll go stand in a corner after this. So
Nick's back.
since Hammy's in
That
the
was
since Hammy's in the comments down there, and he's watching. Hammy, do you or did you consider yourself a blue collar worker?
He was a stripper.
Okay, well that's not very blue collar.
Like he still does that for a living. But now he's gotten so old, they pay him to put his clothes back on.
Damn. All right. Well then. Well, this salute to service just took a turn.
He's over 6 foot tall ginger, like,
Well, he would.
and not even a very pretty one.
They must have had to have a really tall pole then.
Well, that was the thing. He didn't really use the pole much.
Ah, okay. Well, that makes sense. Wow. You gonna take that, Hammy?
Then what's the point?
Oh wait, I might be getting his. I might be getting him confused with someone else. He was a firefighter, so he still rode a pole. My bad.
Hey, easy, easy. That pole's there for emergency purposes only, not to hang upside down on in a bikini or whatsoever.
Yeah, why do I believe that you did not use it for pleasure purposes?
I didn't. I don't know what you're talking about.
You can't tell me that y'all never played on the pole.
No.
Never rode down it for
'Cause-
fun.
Nope. Because if you played on it or rode down it for fun, that means you had to polish it when you got done. And who wants
True,
to
too.
do that? Because please tell me, have you ever been in a fire station that had a dull, not shiny pole? I mean, I've been places that do, but we won't go there.
Well, those were volunteer stations.
I've never been to a fire station that has a pole.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been to a few actually that have them, but I think nowadays they're kind of getting more away from the poles. It's mainly your older.
They're
fire
going with the
stations that have
elevators
'em.
now.
Yeah, they're which will also cause the firefighters' pay to go up or down depending on how many calls they get. So, Well, this has been fun. It took an interesting turn there at the end. I think we kind of got off on a. Would you consider that a blue collar job, Bronson?
I mean, I feel like there's manual labor that goes involved in that.
Nick, what are your thoughts? Is that a, without saying what I'm talking about? Is that a manual
Well,
labor job?
Hold
blue
on,
collar?
you can put it nicely. What they like to be called. They don't like to be called the S word, anyways. Exotic dancer.
Or pole technician.
See, that automatically makes them blue collar. Pole technician.
Ah, I guess it does. What do you think, Nick?
If you put technician behind it, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and even with the entertainment thing, I mean, there is some engineering that has to go on.
What did I tell you about Hammy? His comment, our station was a single level station, so we didn't need a pole. But they still had one for the tradition of it. He played on that pole.
Yeah, he did.
He was an exotic dancer. There's pictures.
Oh wait, you said there's pictures?
I can't share 'em.
Oh, well, that's no fun. All right, guys. Well, this has been fun. It took a very, like I said, took a very interesting turn there at the end, which was fun. But this has been this episode of Salute to Service with Blue Collar. There is more of this coming. Like I said, I have guests lined up that actually, do blue collar work other than Bronson, who seems to be becoming a very prominent guest on this podcast, almost permanent like.
I can't leave you by yourself, bro.
But, there are more blue collar episodes to come, along with, our traditional stuff that we cover. So please stick around, keep watching. I want to thank Nick and Bronson for coming. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of it. I want to thank everybody in the comments. Appreciate y'all. Jess, I'm still mad that you and Bronson didn't bring me any Mexican, but I'll digress. Join us next week for our next episode of Salute to Service.
Episode?
Yeah, I know, right? I told you. If you listen to the first part of this podcast, I even said I can't talk tonight.
Slurring a little bit, huh?
No. I don't drink on this podcast, Bronson.
It's literally salute to service.
Yeah, I don't drink. It's not Tater and a beer anymore. I don't drink on this podcast.
Salute to service.
I can do it with a cup full of Dr. Pepper.
And Crown?
There's no alcohol in it, Bronson.
You're lying.
Anyway, thank y'all for watching.
Lying.
Thank
Stop
y'all
lying
for
to your
watching.
guests.
We hope you join us again next week.
That's
for
like
our
Hammy
next-
not drinking and driving.
Oh
He's
my
a responsible
goodness.
individual.
Oh my goodness. Leave Hammy alone. He doesn't drink and drive. If he says it, that means he doesn't do it.
That's what I'm saying. He's a responsible individual.
And I'm being responsible by not drinking on Salute to Service.
Look, you see how this eye is going straight? It's because that's called the bullshit meter. You're lying.
Yeah, no, well, that one's going straight and the other one's drifting. So, I mean, you got to get them straight at the same time in order for me to take you seriously. Anyway,
That's called the bullshit meter.
Before we get off on a rant on Salute to Service or salute to one of Bronson's eyes, you're not sure which one. We love y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Have a safe and wonderful week. I'm Tater.
I'm BB.
I'm Nick.
We'll catch y'all next time. Later.
Crackling mic on a Saturday night. Coffee hot, that flag still inside. Boogie and Tater with the red, white, blue, tipping their hats to the proud and true. From boots on the ground in desert sand to the hometown cop with a steady hand. Sirens wail, but they stand tall, answering duties never failing call.
Here's old
Salute to service.
old candy cane.